tomorrow, September 12th, is the Democratic primaries for the New York City mayoral. So, Bill DeBlasio, our current mayor, and the main person running against him is a guy named Sal Albanese. I don't know much about Sal, but I would like to do a video more focusing on why Bill DeBlasio should be a one-term mayor, why he should not be reelected. So, why Bill DeBlasio is wrong for New York and should be a one-term mayor. So, our governor is the same party as him, and they don't even get along. He decriminalized urination, public urination and defecation. Public pee and poo. Yeah. The major unions, we had problems this summer with the major unions striking, especially some of the unions that were working for the cable company. So people's internet went out a lot, and people were saying that it was partially de Blasio's fault because they felt like he, as a mayor, should have stepped in and tried to smooth things over between the unions and their employers. ICE detainers from the federal government are not honored for many, many crimes. I know a lot of people like the whole sanctuary city thing, but for crimes like even rape and forcible touching, last I knew, ICE detainers were not being honored, and if they are being honored, it's because Assemblywoman Nicole Malliotakis actually was getting on his case that he should look at. There's more crimes that she felt should be honored for ICE detainers. And I certainly, as a woman, would not want to be raped in the subway, or I'm not sure exactly what the legal definition is for forcible touching, but if it's just grabbing somebody's butt, actually, I guess it would have to be more. But, I wouldn't want a crime committed against me like these and have somebody get away with it. Big one. We had an NYPD officer she was sitting in mobile police stations. She was sitting towards in front of the window. They said vehicle, but I heard that it was one of the mobile police stations. And she was sitting there filling out paperwork, and they shot her. Okay. But then he flies to Germany, like, the next day or 2 days later. And a lot of people might have forgotten about that. He was basically keynote speaking in Germany to an Antifa group, while outside of where he was speaking, people were setting everything on fire. For those of you who know what's going on in Berkeley, it was like that, but on steroids. He has been arrested for protesting while he was a mayor. He tells his son not to worry about the police, and there's actually a police detail to watch his son. He disrespects the police constantly. And me, knowing what's going on in Berkeley, knowing what's going on in Portland, knowing what's going on in Seattle, knowing how there are riots on the left coast of this country, and the mayors are standing down the police and allowing these riots to happen, I'm worried that the only thing that has stopped de Blasio from allowing these riots in New York City is that he wants to get reelected. So I'm very worried that if he gets reelected, we will end up having riots here in New York City, and I don't want that. I hope you don't either. They're literally, like, crowds. They wear a black or red bandana, usually, in front of their face so you can't recognize them, which is against the law. But again, these Democratic mayors tell the police to stand down, and then they wear a black hoodie. Every single person wears the same outfit with basically blue jeans or black jeans and a hoodie, so you can't really tell anyone apart. and then they cover their face. You can't even tell who's a female or a male, a lot of times. It's just, and then they're in this big cluster, and after somebody commits a crime, they run into the cluster and people surround them, and this is pre-planned. There's certain people that are designated to commit crimes, people who are designated to shelter them, and then they invite additional people to these riots to create even more of a crowd for the criminals to disappear into. And this has been going on out on the left coast. And it also happened in Washington around the time of the inauguration. And I don't want this to happen in New York City. People always say we're a democratic city, but I'd like to think we're a little more sensible than that. Especially people from the outer boroughs are especially more sensible than that. I did not know this, but Staten Island actually votes Republican. So I definitely don't want him being reelected because I don't want riots in New York City. There was also, speaking of riots and protests, the protest that I went to against the Muslim woman, Linda Sarsour, who is pro-BDS, which is an anti-Israel thing, and it's anti-Jewish. There were several protesters that came to protest against us, and some of them even came from California, and they harassed us, and something leaked. We didn't find concrete proof, but people were saying that the mayor was behind allowing them to harass us more because they were right next to us and they shouldn't have been. That's standard practice, is if you have a protest and a counter-protest, they are much more separated, and basically you could have stood on the sidewalk between the two protests and you could have touched people in both protests. Although I wouldn't touch Antifa. They'd probably beat you up for that. Alright. So that also brings me to the point that he fraternizes with terrorists. And again, Linda Sarsour. You see pictures of him with the two of them all cozy and huggy, and she's from a Hamas family, and she made a comment that was very anti this country, saying about how they feel oppressed in this country, and she's very much, she stood on the stage with a woman named Resmi, who was a terrorist from the Palestinian territory who killed a couple of Jewish boys at a grocery store. This Resmi, and so she served time for it in Israel, 20 years in prison. Older woman, much older woman. And Linda Sarsour at some point stood on stage with her and said that she looked up to this woman or admired her. So that's one instance where Bill DeBlasio is getting too cozy with terrorists. Then there's another incident. There's this guy, Oscar Lopez Rivera. He was honored at a parade, and the mayor was siding with this, and most of the city was very upset with it. I'm not sure exactly how that went down. He also told a rally when he was going to get elected last time. The rally was Muslims for DeBlasio, and he told them that he was going to completely dismantle New York City's counterterrorism. So I'm not sure if he was able to do that, or if perhaps he didn't, but the fact that he even told them that is troubling, if you ask me. So people need to get out and vote against him. He's already bought the Muslim vote.
This coming November, we'll have elections here in New York City and across the state. And then next November, in 2018, we'll have the opportunity to vote out.
I took that to be an indicator that Bill DeBlasio has arranged for Linda Sarsour to have the Muslims vote for him. So we really need people to get out and vote against him. And also, Democrats have a history of arranging for votes from illegals and dead people. So we need all the votes we can get against him. Let's not leave this to chance, people. And even if, let's just make sure this is as much of a defeat as possible. And tomorrow is the primaries, so let's make it so he doesn't even get back on the ballot for November. Everybody who hopefully hears this today, let's get out tomorrow. If you are if you're registered a Democrat, I can't actually vote against him tomorrow because I'm registered not as a Democrat. But if you are registered as a Democrat, get out and vote against him. Get this message out. Get other people to get out and vote against him. Everybody who's registered as a Democrat needs to get out and vote against Bill DeBlasio. Yes, I'm a Trump fan, but I mean, I'm basically at this point, I'm vouching for Sal Albanese, who is another Democrat, because I'm trying to get Bill de Blasio not even as an option for November. So I am urging everybody to get out and vote against him.
5 years. I want to know why you let your police officers down and our country down by going to Germany and protesting against our country. I want to know why you're doing that. Okay? I don't care about the trees. We'll work it out. Find $18 million to put in your cops' pockets. Okay? And pay your police officers. And stop spending it on money to go protest against our country.
Your message to the mayor.
My message to the mayor is simply this. I was driving by, I saw the mayor, I said to my husband, pull the car over. Because I've had it with de Blasio, I've had it with the way he's running this city. Everybody's had it with de Blasio. I don't think he has a friend in the city. But as far as I go, and our Queens constituents go, which are basically Republican, but that doesn't matter. This has got nothing to do with party lines. This has got all about to do with a liberal socialist mayor who is running our country, running our city, and has no regard for our country. So my simple question to the mayor was this. Why are you here talking about $18 million to correct sidewalks and to prune trees? Which I've watched them prune trees, and they do that totally wrong also, being in the landscaping business for 35 years. But let me not digress. Let me stay on point. Point being, our tax dollars paid for this mayor to go to Germany to protest against our country. Okay? That $18 million that he wants to spend on trimming trees, let him put it in our police officers' pockets. Let him take care of the police officer that was assassinated, that he chose that particular day without telling a soul that he was leaving to go to Germany.
He ran away.
He ran away, exactly. It's time he starts to pay attention. Why? This is a big show. This means nothing. He could have sent anybody here to tell us about our trees. Again, I've lived here for 63 years. De Blasio, be a mayor. Don't talk to me about trees. Talk to me about protection of our city, of our citizens, and what you're going to do for your police officers, because you left them high and dry on more than one occasion. Can't wait for election day. Buddy, you are out.
Yes.